What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trading Decoded. It is December 11th, 2024, 4:33 in the afternoon. And today's going to be a different type of video. I'll show you the two trades that I took, the two trades that we found. Obviously, there was a whole bunch of trade opportunities today, and hopefully there were mostly calls because, wow, today was very, very green, which leads me to the point of today's video. But first, let me show you the two trades that we found. We had a call line here. We took calls, short move up, and then this one over here, we were waiting for Qs, which had an epic day, to get through, was it the pink line? No, it was above that double line, I think. Yeah. No, we wanted Qs. We waited for Qs to get above their all-time highs. Came back, tested or created a support. We bought calls off that support, and we were aiming for the next line up. Now, this orange line here, this was all-time highs being put in at during trading hours. This orange line here came from a pre-market wick that some people consider all-time highs. The market only counts all-time highs during regular trading hours. That was this green line. We got through that, and we were aiming for where the wick in the pre-market from, where was it? This day right here. That's where that orange line came from. As you could see, it tried to hold, but very quickly got through it and continued up from there. Now, I say that to say this. Both of those trades were short. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why it was for me, and I believe it would be the same reason for several other people. Now, that first trade there paid me a little over 11%. The second one, I didn't get in all the way down here, by the way. And then the second one paid just over 12%. Not big winners. Met my goal for the day, and therefore I was happy. But what I do want to talk about is the fact that we've been experiencing pretty tough charts for all of December. Low volume, crazy moves, not big moves, just the market seems whack. And I believe, even though we all wanted to have a nice green trending chart or a nice red trending chart, we don't really care which way it's going. We just want a nice clean chart. We all hope for it, but then we didn't feel comfortable playing it. Now, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's just me and the several people that have said the same thing to me when I said today's video wasn't going to be much about trading and more about the psychology that comes with trading and how we self-sabotage ourselves when it comes to trading constantly. You would think on a day like today, with the chart moving up the way that it was, that it would have been a nice, easy day for a lot of people, right? Our win-loss ratio was 2-to-1, still good, almost 3-to-1 now at this point. But we had a lot of reds today. And I think that came from a lot of, or several reasons. First and foremost, it's very hard to forget the 10 trading days. It's not really 10 trading days, but the 10 days prior to today's chart that the market was open, that we had some rough days. We carried those days on our back, right? I'm not saying you rough days in that you lost money or made money or didn't trade. I'm just saying the chart just seems disconnected, and you can't forget that very easily. I can't either. So when we have a chart like today, it's very hard to trust it, right? And that's not the chart's fault. The chart was telling us everything we needed to know in order to be looking for calls. Everything was wildly green. Now, another problem for me anyway was that this came on the heels of the reports that came out today, all of which came in as expected, but it's also 3 months, consecutive months of slightly and higher inflation. So in our heads, we're not wanting to trust the chart because we're thinking, well, inflation's getting worse and the Fed's going to want to pause or maybe raise rates again or whatever the case, right? The market shouldn't be going up based on this news and this information. That's caveat and problem number one for a lot of people. The previous days that led up to today, if you tried to trade them, may create a lot of hesitation when you do get that nice clean chart. It's very difficult to play a chart sometimes, even when it seems easy. And, the other thing that I stressed a lot today, even though I took 2 small trades, was trying like hell to keep people from playing puts. There is a tremendous amount of folks who are feeling pain in their personal finances, pain when they look at those credit card bills that they get, pain when they see the cost of what it costs for insurances, food, your housing. And when they feel that pain, they believe that the market has no business being so happy when they're struggling so much. It's very hard to disassociate and disconnect your own self and your own feelings and your own, world around you from the stock market. And that's why they always say Main Street and Wall Street are 2 completely different things. But it's not easy to let that concept feel true to us. So when you're in that spot, and it's a lot of people, right? I'm feeling the pressures of everyday costs. I'm making more money than I ever had in my life, and I feel like I'm not saving nearly as much as I should be. And that's because everything around me is still going up, especially where I live here in South Florida. My insurances on my car, health, and homeowners insurance are astronomically high, and they keep going higher. It's killing me. Tuitions for our kids' schools going up. Taxes going up. Groceries staying up. All of these things, right? So the point I'm trying to make is when you feel that way, you are also wanting to play puts naturally, right? Because it's hard to convince yourself that if I'm not feeling all this glory and everything's great for me, why is the stock market feeling this way? I don't trust it. I don't believe it. So every new high of day that we make, you want to play a put, or every sign of some kind of weakness, meaning when we hit a level of resistance, you think this is where the market's going to turn around and just tank. Now, I've been guilty of that feeling a very long time in the past. I spent a year with a put buy, so I know exactly how it feels. And when the market is anywhere near or at or making all-time highs, naturally we tell ourselves, man, this thing's got to pull back. Man, this thing needs to pull back. It's got to breathe. We tell ourselves all of these things, which is just feeding the fuel that is trying to inspire a counter trend trade. You see, when we were talking about puts today, the levels that I was putting on the chart, that which I wanted people to wait for to even entertain puts, were way farther away than where I would normally put them. And I did that on purpose. I did it because I was trying to, aside from saying, don't play puts today, I was trying to disincentivize playing puts by moving the trigger to get into those puts to a point we weren't probably going to hit. And we never came close to any of the lines that we wanted to cross to take puts. Yet people still took them. They took them because every pullback on SPY or the Qs was going to be the reversal. And we did find some counter trend trades to take. But when you see those trades, understand that you're fighting an entire market that was extremely happy with going higher. So when you're going to take a counter trend trade, take it from the break of the trend line if that's where you want to get in, and take it to the next support down. Assume that your supports are going to hold. Okay? On an uptrending day, assume supports are going to hold. Assume resistances are going to fail. That'll at least keep you from buying puts at resistances. In calls, it'll get you into calls on support. Okay? You got to get yourself in that situation. Now, for me today, personally, I was uncomfortable. The Qs got to all-time highs and kept pushing. I use the Qs for almost everything I do in my trades. When I don't have targets higher on the Qs, I don't know where it's going to go and when it's going to stop going up. It's not up to me. So while I'm hanging on to a SPY trade or an SPX trade while Qs are up in Never Never Land, I start to get uncomfortable. That's a me thing, but I'm aware of that feeling. So because of that, I don't hold on to my trades as long as I might otherwise because it's not comfortable for me. But it doesn't mean that I was looking for every chance to take a put. Because I can clearly see that the entire top 10, except for Eli Lilly, was very green. Almost all of the top 10 was up over 1%, and most of them were up over 2% on the day. Across the board. Everything was up today, except for small caps for a while. They started to drop significantly. I don't really care about small caps. I'm not invested in them, and I don't trade them. They control ADD. So yes, this morning, Qs was running up, ADD was going down. But at one point, ADD started to go up, and that's when SPY and everything really continued to move up. Cleaner. Okay? So there's not much in the way of helpful information in today's video because I'm trying to explain to you why you may have had a difficult time trading today's amazing chart. I guess you could call it. It was a nice trending chart for the most part, but it didn't feel nice, even though you were watching it go up. And then the other problem is, as it gets higher and higher, you're probably saying to yourself, man, if I buy now, I'll be buying the top. And then you watch it go higher. And then it pulls back. And you're like, oh man, I can't buy these calls here because this might be the start of the downtrend that I'm waiting for. It messes with our heads. It messes with our heads. I had to convince one of my favorite people in the community, the editor of my book, as a matter of fact, Lisa, I love you. She was like, Jimmy, help me find puts. I'm like, Lisa, why don't we work on trying to find calls? She's like, well, can you help me do that? I said, sure, let's break this little pullback downtrend that we're having and then try it then. The thing ended up running up way past the high of day and continuing up. Did she take it? No. Why? Because she wasn't comfortable with calls, and that's okay. If you're not comfortable with calls on an uptrending day, either walk away or wait for a uptrend to at least end. Even if it's the break of the trend or you put in a couple of lower highs, whatever the case is, you have to wait for the chart to feed your bias. Your bias does not control the chart. And until you get that through your head, you're going to be fighting a battle you cannot win. The chart does not care what you want. The chart does what the chart does. It's your responsibility to play with it or try to play against it. But just know that in either case, you have no effect on it. Only on your account. Okay? And that's all I'm going to talk about as far as today's chart goes and today's trading day. I am going to also mention that some of you guys may know or may not know or don't remember, or maybe you do remember, a while back I put out a video describing a series that I wanted to start called the Dividend, Dividend. And what that's going to be based on, and I'm going to start working on it now, is I'm doing something that a lot of people say is stupid. A lot of people say it can't work. And I don't know if it can or can't. And maybe I'm the idiot in the end, but I'm willing to put my own money at risk to try it and do something that I haven't seen anybody else do, which is investing in a separate portfolio in these high yield dividend ETFs that pay out monthly. I want to start documenting that. I started with $30,000 in December of 2023. Currently, that account has grown itself through dividend appreciation to $46,000, a little over after today. And I want to show everybody everything about these accounts. I'm doing it for myself in a regular trading account. And then I've got 2 Roths set up for my oldest daughter and my oldest son that are also invested in these types of things. And I want to show you guys the performance, the growth, or the losses that take place in these accounts over the course of months or maybe years. Again, I'm aware it's not a popular thing. There are plenty of dividend guys out there that will tell you it's stupid. Right now, I know I put $30,000 in and the account is up $16,000, give or take, having put $0 of my own in there since December of 2023. It's all growth from dividends. And that's with taking, I think right now, it's about a $6,000 hit on the share prices themselves. But we'll get into all of that stuff. So I'll explain all of it when I do the first video. Just wanted to make you guys aware that I'm going to be working on that. Maybe we'll start it January, start of the year, because there's a lot of changes coming for me. Trading Decoded, the book's coming. We got another surprise thing coming out for the community members in our thing. I'll do the dividend portfolio thing, and just keep me busy. But that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys got some insight on why today might have been a little bit more difficult than we hoped it would be. And if you agree with what I said, or if you felt the same way that I did and several other people in our community did today, give me a thumbs up. Maybe like or share or subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you. And if you'd like to join our Discord community, well, we'd love to have you. There's a link down below. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did well today. If you didn't, hopefully this helped to answer some of the reasons why. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you.